been looking forward to EA's Army of Two the 40th Day since it was announced. I enjoyed the first game for what it was, and despite its flaws, had a pretty good time with it. After hearing about the endless list of improvements EA Montreal was making to the sequel, I couldn't wait to get my hands on the game. When I did finally sit down to play the 40th Day, it was clear I built up too much hype in my head. While this follow-up is certainly better than its predecessor, Army of Two the 40th Day isn't quite the game I'd hoped it was. The 40th Day once again puts you in the shoes of Salem and Rios, two self-employed private military contractors with a penchant for masks and crazy guns. This time around, the duo are on a small job in Shanghai when the city's attacked by another private military group, the 40th Day. At least I think that's what happens. It's not really clear, and it's not supposed to be. The developers set out to create a game that was about surviving moment to moment, where the only clear purpose at hand was to live long enough to escape the insanity. To a point, they succeeded. For some reason, at the very end of the game, they try to put a face on the madness and give you a proper antagonist, but it feels very tacked on. The rest of the events in the game hold even less weight thanks to the out-of-nowhere reveal of the mastermind behind the fall of Shanghai. Thankfully, the game's action moments are plentiful and worth taking part in. Despite how short the roughly 6-hour campaign feels, you'll never find yourself at a shortage of explosions or shootouts. That said, the game's checkpoint system is absolutely horrendous, and you'll find yourself repeating chunks of the game, including unskippable cutscenes, over and over again just to make it to the next autosave. Regardless of whether you play with a friend or not, Army of Two is all about co-op. When playing alone, you'll be able to issue simple commands to your AI partner, and even though the computer AI isn't fantastic, it's certainly serviceable. It's not until you play with another human, though, that you're able to enjoy all the cooperative gameplay features the game implements so well. Returning from the first game is the aggrometer, a scale that indicates which one of you is currently drawing the attention of the enemies you're fighting. Drawing aggro away from your partner frees them up to get closer to inattentive foes. Cooperative sniping also makes a return appearance, albeit slightly improved. Salem and Rios' masks are connected to a GPS system. Activating it not only provides intel on what type of soldiers you're currently facing, where to go to reach your next objective, or what friendlies are in the area, but it also allows you to tag enemies for sniping. Once you've tagged the soldiers you're going to shoot at, you can initiate a 3 count so that you both fire at the same time. It's interesting to say the least, but often there are way too many enemies in an area to snipe without getting noticed, so it's just as easy to run in guns blazing. Weapon customization is back and is as fun as ever. While some of the features aren't terribly deep, and you may find yourself relying on the same features for guns over and over again, there's something strangely appealing about creating a solid gold machine gun with a scope, bayonet, and plate shielding, then shooting someone with it. Customization requires cash, which can be earned several different ways in the game. Finding it on the battlefield after clearing an area of enemies is the easiest, but you can also earn money by saving hostages, finding it in enemy supply caches, or from the game's moral choices. Scattered throughout the game are key moments where you'll be asked to make a decision with 2 possible outcomes: positive morality or negative morality. Positive moral decisions, like not killing your local contact, won't earn you any money, but they will unlock weapons, whereas negative decisions, like killing innocent security guards, have huge payouts but no weapon unlocks. The moral choices are fairly arbitrary and don't convey any real emotion. Your decisions will never come down to how you feel, but how badly you want extra money for pimping out your shotgun. Outside of the story-based multiplayer, you'll find that the competitive online features some decent variety. Deathmatch makes an appearance, as does a King of the Hill variant, but returning mode Warzone, where you'll continuously play for varied objectives, and new mode Extraction, Army of Two's version of Horde mode, are where you're likely to spend most of your time. You can't bring any of your custom weapons into any of the online modes, and instead will have to choose from a handful of pre-selected weapon sets. There's supposed to be a partnership system where you and a friend can enter a game together, but every time I tried it, we ended up getting separated once the game started. Cooperative play is a major focus of the online as well, and team tactics will always prevail over lone wolf tendencies. There's not a whole lot the game does different online, but if you're looking for a slight change of pace, this game will certainly provide it. Army of Two the 40th Day certainly looks better than the game that preceded it, but manages to be graphically inconsistent segment to segment. There's a ton of urban destruction, but there's virtually no destructible cover. Even when the action-intensive cutscenes occur, none of the mayhem looks natural. The main characters are pretty well rendered, but something just seems off for all the rest of the computer denizens you interact with. Weapons look great, although you may find yourself chuckling at the ridiculousness of having a huge gold gun strapped to your chest during some sequences. One of the more entertaining aspects of the game, the buddy interactions like fist bumps and rock, paper, scissors, would have been great were they not hampered by the obstructive camera angles. If the camera had just been pulled back another few feet when you went for high fives, this aspect would have been much improved. While it's true the 40th Day didn't live up to my expectations, I still had a pretty good time playing through the game. The game has some issues that at this point in the generation are pretty much unforgivable, but if you're willing to look past them, you'll find there's a decent cooperative shooter there. Like the first game, Army of Two the 40th Day puts forth some interesting ideas that just never get off the ground, and despite needing some more polish, is a great way to spend a weekend. Thanks for watching, and be sure to check out the full text review on Gamervision.com.